Welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to be going over everything that I crocheted in the month of February. I think this is just about everything. I'm trying to get better at doing these videos and actually taking pictures of everything I make, so I might have missed something here or there, but this is at least majority. So the first thing, and I guess these are also in no particular order, I don't know if that's worth noting or not. So the first thing are these mini frogs. This is a Katie Being Creative pattern. I made these for my market. I made this Crochet Grove no-sew, well, low-sew, pretty much. There's ways to make it no-sew. It depends on what you want to do. I did a low-sew version to where I crocheted everything on except for the ears because I liked the look of the sticking up ears. Yeah, so this was the Crochet Grove pattern. I made this sloth. This was one of the times that I forgot to take a picture when I made it, so I just took a picture of it on my shelf. I made some pot mushrooms. That's a cable and canvas pattern. I made some big leggy frogs. That is a not shaded co-pattern. So far all this stuff has been market prep. I made this pink kind of camo-y baby cow. That's a Madeline Mayco pattern. It's her baby cow pattern. I made 5 big axolotls. I think that might also be Crochet Grove, but don't quote me on that. I did a little restock. I only made 4 of these, but I did a little restock of these mini octos. There's 5 up front and then the same colors right behind it. I made the 2 orange and the 2 green. You just can't see the back row, but that is an all from Jade pattern. I made 3 of these Weavy aliens. I think it's Meg Makes Crochet or Meg Makes Patterns or something. Don't quote me on that, but the person who does Weavy aliens, she does what are they called? I don't remember what she calls them. It's not alien and a UFO, but Space Invader. I think she calls them Space Invaders. Yeah, I made 3, and they look so big because I did it in weight 7 yarn. They're usually more of a handheld, situation, but I wanted them to be extra. I made this for Valentine's Day. I don't think this pattern is linked on my Google Doc because I found this pattern on Instagram and I could not find it after the fact, but that's a heart on its stomach, so I don't know if you really want to do it since it's after Valentine's Day, but just I got it on Instagram if you can try to find it that way. It's cute. I sold it at the market I brought it to. Yeah, I made 5 baby axolotls. This is Alyssa G's pattern. I made it in the corresponding colors to the adult ones I made. I made some baby leggy frogs. I made this Madeline Mayco cow also, but I did this in orangey yarn, and I don't know that I love it, but I had this yarn from a collaboration I did a super while back with the Regretful yarn at it. That was a fun collaboration, and I'll link it right here if you guys want to watch it. It was cool. But I've had this yarn sitting around, and I've used the solid color, the peach that's on the snoot and the horns a few times, but I haven't used the multicolored orange, so I tried it as a cow. I don't know that I love it as a cow, I won't lie, but I mean, it's not terrible. I made this strawberry pillow. That was for market prep. I made these 8, what are these? Baby sharks. This is a Rachel the Farmer's Wife pattern on Etsy. Also market prep. You can see in this picture, I've got the worsted weight octos that I showed you earlier, but in the basket below them, I have the plush octos. I made a couple of these, but I don't know how many, 3 or 4 if I had to guess. This is my strawberry milk girl. You could see her from 2 angles. I made this for the strawberry festival I did, and if the video's up, I'll link it right here of my market recap or everything I crocheted, or maybe both. The first than the other one, I don't know, but she's cute, she's fun. She's a no-sew pattern. The hat's no-sew, body's no-sew, little strawberry purse is no-sew. You do have to embroider the letters. I mean, you don't have to, but I did. But thankfully milk is super easy because it's all straight line parts to it. I made this Madeline Mayco baby cow. I made these 2 little mini turtles. I think this is Tofu Turtle, the pattern. I made this little baby hat. This little baby hat got me an order on an adult velvet beanie at my last market, so I just made this. I ran out of palms. I didn't realize I was out of stock because I hadn't been using these for hats. I'd been using them for keychains. So I didn't realize that I had to use the other ones of this color. So I've got more coming in the mail on Monday. But yes, if you'd like that, you can get it in adult size too. This is a Cameron's Cute Creations pattern. It worked up quick-ish. I will say I'm super slow with the velvet yarn, so if you're not super slow with the velvet yarn, you'll probably will work it up a lot faster than I did. but it still comes out cute. I made these little wings, the bigger white wings. Well, first I guess let me explain. I was trying out different yarn weights for little wings for a plushie I made for an order. So these were just samples. Obviously these, well, I guess not obviously, but these did not make the like final plushie. I used different colors in the final plushie. But the bigger ones, I think I'm going to turn into keychains. And then the little ones, I thought it would be cool to experiment with crochet earrings because that is 100% cotton yarn. And my friend has a jewelry business, so I'm thinking about hitting her up for some like gold-filled like earring thingamabobs. I don't know what they're called. I also started this blanket and I made all these squares in February. The colorful squares is that new granny square red heart yarn that's like all in one. So traditionally when you make a granny square, you have to like switch yarns, change colors. But this yarn is meant to do the color changes at the right time, all in one single strand of yarn. As you can see, technically it works. I was able to make all these squares. I've since made more squares. My blanket's definitely not done, not even close. But I've gotten past like a row and a half past with this. So that is like, there's either 4 or 5 of the granny squares, the colorful ones, per row. So I've used more than a full skein. Anyway, all that to say is technically it does work. But I call a big fat heaping load of BS on every video that I watched reviewing the yarn about how, you know, it's kind of hard at first, but you'll get a groove and you'll be able to really like knock them out. Oh, nay. In fact, I had to, for the front half of the skein, use a smaller hook than I had to use for the back half of the skein. I went from using like a 6 to a 6.5 up to a 7. And now, mind you, this yarn calls supposedly for a 4.5 millimeter hook. So the fact that I was already starting out with like a 6.5 says a lot, but by the back half of this skein, I was using a 7 millimeter. So that's like a huge difference. And then for every round, whatever, I had to frog a little bit and go back and redo it. And there was no like flow to be found. Some rows I had to do a lot looser, so I'd have to frog back to like the corner and like really like loosen it up. I probably could have switched to an 8 millimeter. Some of them I'd get to the end, like halfway around like the top and run out of yarn, so I'd have to frog back to like, you know, the top and the side and really tighten that up and then go. But that was every row, every square for the whole experience. That's why you'll notice the solid color granny squares in this picture, because I went from ambitiously thinking I was going to make a whole granny square blanket with this like fancy granny square yarn to realizing, because those squares take me like 30 minutes to figure out, you know, to realizing it was just absolutely not what I wanted to do that like 100 times. So I started supplementing with solid squares, and my idea, which was not my idea, I stole it from the internet, was to do my best to color match the colors in the like colorful granny square with some solids and then supplement with like those colors. The person that I seen doing it on the internet, theirs looked a lot better because they actually color matched. I just color matched with like the yarn I had on hand, so I got as close as I could. Some of them are pretty good, some of them are not. Like that purpley red, that's like the solid is like a lot more purple than the like purpley red that's in the granny square for one. And then you can't see it here, but I also have a pink, and it's not a hot pink like it is on the granny square. It's a light pink, like a baby pink, but I did not have any hot pink. So yeah, that's my spiel on the granny square yarn. If you've got patience, it does work. You're just gonna have to like work it to get it to work, you know? I made this little velvet bear. This was actually the first thing I had ever made in velvet, and I made a mistake because I've used burnout blanket yarn like always. And if you guys don't know, there is no weight difference between burnout blanket and burnout baby blanket. So I, for whatever reason, just didn't assume there'd be a weight difference between burnout velvet and burnout baby velvet. There is in fact a weight difference. The baby velvet is a weight 4 yarn, and the regular burnout velvet, this one, is a weight 5 yarn. So I had gotten like 6 colors in total. 5 of them turned out to be this like regular velvet, weight 5, and one of them turned out to be baby velvet, which is a weight 4 yarn. So this is the weight 4 yarn that I got, and this is Crochet Grove's pattern. I don't know the name of the pattern, but there's a bear and like a beehive and some bees in it. This is the bear part of that pattern, and like the pattern, he looks pretty big, but obviously in a weight 4 he turned out to be like a little petite guy. But I saved him. You can't really see him, but he's tucked right in that opening between this little storage bin and my books, just because he was very time consuming to make for being such a tiny guy, because I am so slow with velvet. So that was the whole thing. But it's like really the first work that I've really kept for myself. I made a couple of things early on that I either like gifted or like gave to my kids to play with. But this is the first thing that I was like, well, this came out like really nice. I really like him, and he was very time consuming. So he is in fact mine. The next thing I made was this little giraffe lovey. This is my pattern, my first ever lovey pattern. It's named after my sister Jenna, who is obsessed with giraffes. That's my older sister, not my younger sister who passed in a car accident. But my older sister is like obsessed with giraffes, and her house had like, you know, like a giraffe statue thing in the corner. Like it wasn't tall, huge, but it was like 3 foot, 4 foot tall maybe. So like modest, like a toddler size. She had like a giraffe, like ottoman, little printed giraffe, like throw pillows, decor, all the things in her house, like a ton of stuff, like little stuffed animals everywhere. Usually like the first baby gift she gets for my kids is a giraffe something or other. So I had been like really jamming with the cozy stitch patterns. I liked them, so it inspired me to try out like my hand at a lovey, and this was what I came up with. Cozy stitches patterns are definitely cute, but I wanted to make something relatively low sew. So the body part is like no sew, like the legs are like a part of the body structure, and the arms are like crocheted right into like the head. You have to sew on the horns, the ears, the snout, and the spots. And pro tip, I didn't even sew on the spots. I like put the yarn through that was from like the tails and tied it, and then hot glued them down. I won't lie. And it doesn't feel like crusty or anything. And it's tied, so it's still not going anywhere, even if a kid managed to like peel it up, which I doubt they would, because it's like that like hot glue really like sticks, and the eyes are embroidered on. But yeah, I wanted mine to be like as easy as possible to make, and this is what I came up with. And none of hers have the knotted legs, but I really liked the look of like the knotted legs on other lovey patterns I've seen. So this was my like rendition, and I'm pretty pleased personally. I also made these little Crochet by Jenna Jellyfish in worsted weight yarn. The pattern, when you buy it, has a picture of like a plush jellyfish, but I had been watching one of her videos and she used worsted weight yarn for hers. So this was my first time making the pattern, and I just really like the look of the worsted weight, and I turned them into keychains. I think that's what she might have done in her video as well, but I can't recall off the top of my head, but she definitely made them in worsted weight and they were cute. So that's what I did. And I also don't remember if her pattern had just like eyes on it or if it had like the full face and the blush, but I highly recommend the like full face and the blush because it just really elevated it, I feel like. I made this strawberry snail. This is not my pattern, but the one next to it is my pattern. It's my strawberry doll you guys already seen. This was also for the strawberry festival. Not a lot to say about it. Relatively, for a big pattern, it was a relatively quick make because like, I don't know, the body's just like a tube. So while it's like long to make, the like arounds are not that many stitches. And then like the strawberry, you know, worked up pretty fast. It's still like a good size, and like the whole thing itself is still like a good size. Yeah, I liked it. That's another thing that I forgot to take a picture of when I made it, so I like screenshotted that from a video. I also made these little butterflies. This, like the wings, I was testing out samples for a custom order I was working on. I went with the ombre look at the end, but I'm probably gonna turn these into like keychains just to like do something with them because I still have them like hanging around. I made this jumbo dinosaur. This is a pattern I got on Etsy. It's cute. I like that it was yellow. It was yellow. One of the pictures on the pattern was like the yellow combination, pretty much like that. And I really like yellow, so I like replicated that. This I should have shot from the side, but this is Wonder Crochet's mini turtle, no-sew turtle, and it's really cute. I sold that at the first market I brought it to. I'm pretty sure. No, second market I brought it to. And that is everything that I made for February. I am still planning on doing this for March. I think I have to like update my list a little bit. I'll be doing that. But in the meantime, if you'd like more crochet content, you can check out this video right somewhere. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!